What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Boleros. Sam here with the Sultan of Sando, Mr. Gab Lim, and the Prophet himself, Mr. Maui. Up. What's up, guys?
Ang init!
Mainit talaga.
Ang
Mainit. Buti
init!
nga umuulan eh. Buti nga may ulan-ulan na kahit papahano, di ba? Para mas malamig ng onte. Speaking of mainit, we're gonna talk about some of the hottest teams in the UAAP. Debuting their official, hindi naman official, but eligible players for Season 89 in the 19th Filoil Preseason Cup. We'll talk about UP versus UST, NU versus Salle, and maybe talk about FEU's game earlier against the Gilas under-18 team. Let's get started with the first game. UP versus UST. This was an interesting game. We saw UST dominate or take the lead in the first half, and then UP end with the W, led by VJ Press, 17 points, I think. By the way, shout out to Filoil. Pahingi naman ng box score dyan. Baka may link kayo ng box score para naman makita namin yung
That's the first
makita
thing I was
namin yung
gonna say.
stats. Para makita namin yung stats.
Some live scores or a website that we can refer to while we do stuff, while we do the podcast. Please send it to
Baka
us.
naman. But Gab, you got to watch this game. Initial reactions to UST versus FEU. Marami kang tinext eh.
UST versus UP.
Ay, sorry, UST versus UP. Marami kang tinext
Totally.
while watching this game.
Yes. Well, it was a big matchup.
Maraming
I
notes.
wanted to see how UST would play. I wanted to see how UP would play. And in the first half, it went as I expected that UST would go inside to Collins Akowe. And for the most part, Collins Akowe was an unstoppable force. He drew he didn't draw all 8 of the fouls on the UP centers, but all 3 UP centers ended up being in foul trouble in the first half. 3 fouls on Deontay Miles, who couldn't do anything against Collins Akowe. 3 fouls against Sean Alter. I think 2 of those were not even against Collins Akowe. So shout out to the foul machine of Sean Alter, and 2 against Gani Stevens. So at the end of that first half, Coach Gold went deep into his bench and pulled out the skeleton of LA Andres to go against Collins Akowe, and it went as well as you could imagine. Collins was incredible in that first half. UP didn't adjust their defense until the second half, which I think kind of swung the game in their favor, because in the first half they weren't really throwing doubles. Whenever Collins would seal in the middle or be fronted in the middle of the paint, the UST wings and guards would just lob it up to Collins, and he would catch it right underneath the basket where he could score or be fouled. And kudos to Collins, his free throw stroke looks really good, really improved. I think he started the game 8 out of 10. Got a little bit worse after that, I have to admit. I don't know what exactly his percentages were throughout the game. Again, we don't have access to the box score or to the yes. Someone just emailed us in our the stats. Thank you. Big Ideas 1206. Thank you. So yeah, UP flipped the script in that second half with their defense. So what they did was they put someone behind Collins Akowe. So someone was fronting one of the centers, either si Gani, si Miguel Palanca, si Miles, was hard fronting Collins Akowe. And there was a second guy right behind just to guard that lob pass to Collins Akowe for the easy basket in the paint. And that kind of threw UST off, because that's my main point about this UST, you Growling Tigers. Aside from Mark Liemit, they do not have any playmakers. None. Nada. And it kind of makes sense because all of the players they lost due to graduation, Palanada, Padrigao, Cabanero, all of those were on-ball shot creators. Shot creators or just playmakers. They could either get a shot for themselves or get a shot for their teammates. All three of those guys. Uh, see, Mark Lemon was the only one trying to create plays, especially in that third quarter when UP took the lead, and even in that fourth quarter where they were trying to make a run. I think he ended up with 22 points in this game. He was clearly the number one playmaker on this team, which is why I think he's coming off the bench, because that's my next point about this UST Growling Tigers team. Their bench is ugly. Yeah, I mean, I think in the first quarter, UST got up by 13, 15 points. As soon as Collins Akowe was subbed out, and they put in a lineup, I think, of Chris Porter, Koji Benaflor, Mark Liemet, which I think that's his role. He's gonna come off the bench and gonna orchestrate that offense for that second unit, which is why he wasn't starting. But yeah, it became a Mark Lemit centric offense for the bench unit, and UP imposed its size. Just ask us Ateneans how well it went having Chris Porter as as your center.
Hey, he won us like a game.
He did, but we were last place for that entire season, so it shows. It shows the. I mean, I don't want to say that it's the same as having Eco Laure. I do think, all in all, Chris Porter is a much better player than Eco Laure.
Much better, yeah.
Oh, because he can stretch the floor. He can stretch the floor. But otherwise, you're gonna have another undersized center be your backup. It's gonna be the same problem. They're gonna have to run Collins Akowe out there for 35 plus minutes in every game if Chris Porter is gonna be taken advantage of inside the paint. Because really, humabol yung UP once the second unit came in. Their point guards, yeah, they gave them next to nothing. It was Donovan Sevilla.
Marami naman silang point guards, ha? Wala ba?
Sam! I don't have the stats here with me. Maybe you can share it, Sam, dun yung galing sa email natin. But I don't
sa Telegram.
The stats, yeah. Yung sa Telegram, yeah. I'll look at it later. But their point guards, they have 5 in their roster. Si Sevilla, si Kirk Cañete, who was backing up Donovan Sevilla. More Ala, who didn't even play. Si Henry Suico, who didn't even play. And si Ivan Callum, who played a little. I think Suico played a little bit. And then si Ivan Callum, who played some spot minutes. They gave them next to nothing. In all honesty, those 5 point guards did not do anything for the USC Growling Tigers. It was just mainly Mark Lemmet trying to create plays from the perimeter, especially in that second half where they were clearly denying Collins Akowe inside the paint, the UP Fighting Maroons. USC could not create the plays. They were turning the ball over a lot, and that's UP's strength. If you're trying to force offense from the perimeter, they will reach, they will trap, and they will get you to force turnovers. And that's what turned the game in the favor of the UP Fighting Maroons. They were able to get in transition. VJ Pre got a lot of his points in transition, taking advantage of those turnovers. And if you're UST, I won't say you're gonna panic. I mean, you still have Collins, but what's gonna happen if teams eventually plan to stop Collins Akowe, trap, double? Someone has to make plays. I have to call out a guy like Amiel Asido and Jello Crisostomo. You guys were expected to do much more playmaking, do more on-ball creation, and I saw next to nothing of that. It was purely just Mark Lemon. And this is what we saw last year. Mark Lemon is capable of doing this. He's capable of creating plays. He's capable of scoring and being the main playmaker in offense, but he can't be the only one. Amiel Asido, I've seen you try to create offense. You have to do more of that. Kasi hindi lang pwede na umasa kayo kay Collins Akowe. And that was really the turning point in the game. Once UP took Collins Akowe first majority of the second half out of the game, it was hard for UST to get that lead back. Maui, Sam.
Maui.
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually about to say that. Si Asido and Crisostomo were not big factors during this game. I think si Asido has been quiet for a long time already. After that very hot start during the preseason, I think he has to step up. Crisostomo has to step up also if he wants to get chances to play abroad. This was a great game by Mark Lemit, but I don't think you can expect si Mark Lemit to score 20 every game. You can't expect Mark Lemit to guard the best player of the other team and become your offense also. Other players will definitely have to step up. I think that's something that they have to figure out. Very big blow. Losing 3 playmakers. I think even si Paranada was a big blow to this team. He was the one that really was really their X factor during the latter part of the season, which is why they were able to turn around the season. Other guys will have to step up, definitely for UST. They will have to hit their 3-point shots. Si Collins Akowe is probably gonna be like this the whole season. 13 fouls drawn, 17 free throws, 20 and 10. The next question is will be number 2, number 3, and number 4. And I think Asido, Crisostomo, and Lemit will have to score 40 to 50 points a game for them to be able to match up with the top UAAP teams. Diba? Kasi 20 plus 40, 60, 70 points and then maybe a few points from the other bench players. Yeah, I really like yung energy ng UP. I thought that this is unlike other UP teams wherein you knew before you came to the game who will score. A lot of players step up, Palanca step up. Even si Iniguez hit some pretty crucial 3-pointers. VJ Pre, as Gab mentioned, I think is starting to figure out how he can be effective as a scorer. He's been scoring a lot in transition. Even the game against Adamson. I think what's worrying me right now maybe is yung discipline ng big man to get into foul troubles. Deontay Miles, I can remember kasi the game against Atene. He looks scary but it looks like but he fouls a lot. Too much so that yung minutes has been limited. I don't know if he's the best option. Maybe si Nuruka pa rin ang best option just because he has that experience in the UAAP. But this UP team is deep. I think si Rainier Maga only played 4 minutes. That tells you the whole story.
Russell Logana didn't play at all. I was shocked. I thought he was one
Russell
of their better
Logana.
players in the previous tournaments.
That's true.
Who hit the game-winning shot, diba, against Salle in one of the tournaments, the provincial tournaments. That's how good this team was. This team is still. So I think UP still has the upper hand. I think UP is still favorites for this season. I think that's something that we realize. I think finally some of the players who rode the bench for a couple of seasons will get some minutes. Si Briones also hit some crucial shots, 3-point shots nung fourth quarter. So yeah, even si Palanca got some good minutes. So I think UP has enough talent to become the favorites. I would say that they are the early season favorites along with the next another team that we'll probably discuss later. They still have I would say probably top to bottom, top 16 players. They still have the deepest lineup in the UAAP for the nth straight season. UP has the most complete lineup this coming season. But yeah, I think it's very important that si VJ Pre. I think when VJ Pre gets going, this team is more dangerous. I think that's what they've shown the past few games that si VJ Pre has been really featured on offense.
UP fans, you can thank us during the season or maybe later that you called out yung VJ Pre. Tuloy, yung nakinig siya at nagpakita siya. You can thank us.
Actually, yun yung first thing that I was gonna say. Inunahan mo ako, Gabs. I was gonna say, shout out to VJ Pre. Ever since we called him out, he didn't have a good start during the Asia Basket preseason tournament, but now he's been showing up a ton. And I think kahit siya nung in-interview siya He said two things actually. Number one, sabi niya, he's still adjusting to the system of Coach Gold, to the UP system. So he's taking it game by game. So he's preaching patience, sabi niya. Patience muna. But also number two, sabi niya, natuto na rin ako dumepensa. Sabi niya, doon ako natawa eh. So parang, so dati hindi ka talaga marunong. Aminado siya na hindi daw siya marunong dumepensa noon. And tama, nanonood ng Bolero si VJ pre.
Was a guest here. Which is
Yeah.
why we are never interviewing a current UAAP player ever again. Siya yung reason.
Pansin
sa
nyo,
season.
past two preseasons, we've interviewed a UAAP player. This season, we haven't done so far just because of the curse. We do not want to
Break
curse any
muna the
UAAP players. We want to break the curse. Yeah, so shout out to VJ Pre. For UST, kudos to Mark Lemet. I just want to say that because I honestly did not expect him to be this good in the seniors division. He played the big nung juniors sila, and I didn't think he would transition this well sa seniors division. He's clearly the number 1, number 2 guy next to Collins Akowe. This team will go as far as the 2, but you guys mentioned the other 2 guys that I really expected a ton from this off season, this coming season 89. Si Jello and si Asido, and they just didn't show up in the game against UP. It was, to be fair to UST, they kept it close. It was a close game. They led in the first half, but the 4 guys have to show up if they want to compete. To be honest, I'm still high on UST just because they have Collins Akowe, they have Mark Lemet, Jello. I think Jello Crisostomo will hopefully find his shot. I'm a bit higher on UST than another team that maybe we'll talk about later that won their game, which is NU. But it's against UP. It's a tough loss, but it's a loss against one of the favorites, as Maui mentioned, this coming season 89. So we'll see. I'm curious to see.
It's not like pinambakan sila ng second half.
Exactly.
I mean, it was still within reach. They could have, it was a 3-point game no bandang dulo when Mark Lemet hit that corner 3. So
Despite bad games from their other guys.
yeah.
So dun sa guard problem, Gab, how are you solving the guard problem of UST?
I
Baka
have no
Is it
idea.
from within?
Baka
I
mag-regret
checked
pa yan.
the
I wouldn't
stats
be
that
surprised.
I checked the stats that you sent, Maui. Their guards had 8 points and 1 assist and 1
Combined.
turnover combined. They're 3-point guards that played. There are 2 other point guards who not get into the game, si Suiko and si Muralao. So 8 points and 1 assist and 1 turnover from the 3-point guard is kind of crazy. That is that's crazy, and especially if the barometer from last season is Kyle Paranada and Fortsky Padrigao, who are like assists and scoring not really Fortsky, but si Paranada was a scorer, spark plug off the bench. Si Padrigao led one of the leaders in assists. So coming, and that's how you perform against the UP Fighting Maroons. And 8 of those points, by the way, all came from Donovan Sevilla, who started this game. The other, si Calum and si Cañete did not do anything. So right now, how to address Sammy? I don't think you need a 6-point guard in your roster. I just think you really have to,
Kawawa naman si Muralao.
Meron na, di ba?
I think you have to develop these 5 guys.
From LSGH ba? Di ba they recruited another guard? UST, I'm not sure.
I don't know, Maui. I'm not sure. I think si Adamson nata yun. Si Andre Bautista.
Adamson.
Tama. So, Adamson yun. So, USC has 5-point guards on their, supposed roster, and they're gonna have to bank on someone from these 5 to elevate their game, orchestrate the offense. You don't have to be a big scorer because you have other scorers on your roster. You have shooters, you have wings that can score. but you have to be a distributor. 1 assist? Are you kidding me? Not one of you, not any one of you could just lob it to Collins Akowe and get Collins score. Come on, that's unacceptable point guard play from the UST Growling Tigers. For UP, I have to give a shout out to Miguel Iniguez. I really think when he entered that third quarter, and UP used this tactic last season against UST. I think it was in the second round or was it in the final four? They put
Final four
Miguel.
ata.
Yeah, they put Miguel Iniguez in the game is simply just to spread the floor. So Collins, if he's gonna man the paint, he can't go out to everyone to a big shooter, and they did it in this game. Miguel Iniguez, I think, hit 2 threes in that run in the second quarter, I think, and even in the third quarter to give UP the lead, and I think he was instrumental in this game. Shout out also to Miguel Palanca holding his former teammate Collins Akowe in that second half, and even in the stretch in the second quarter, wherein majority of the guys were in foul trouble. Maui mentioned it. I'm shocked that Ogana didn't get any minutes, and this is the rotation. So I don't know. Is he going to be the odd man out in this rotation along with Rainier Maga? That's a bit shocking to me. Rainier Maga played a big role in UE. He's a dead-eye shooter. He can make plays for himself, so I'm not sure what his role is going to be. But yes, for now, it's just one game, but it looks like those two are in the outside looking in the rotation. We'll see.
Yeah, unless my injury, but I know they played in recent games, so I don't think that's the case. That's a good point. Siguro daw, yeah, sila lang yung odd man out eh. I mean, the other guy that I'm thinking about that's also probably eligible, si Franco, but he's a rookie, so he's still young, so don't really expect much from him also.
Just a point, Sammy. The RV Poyos minutes were terrible. So if you're Rainier Maga, maybe try going after those RV Poyos.
Those minutes.
Yeah, he
Those
did not
minutes.
look good. He looked like he looked like a rookie in the UAAP, to be honest. He was turning the ball over a lot, committing a lot of unnecessary turnovers, some rush shots, and did not look good in his, at least in first Filoil preseason game. I mean, it's the first game. I think he'll be better, but if Rainier Maga playing point guard for the UE Red Warriors, so it's not that hard to imagine that he can eventually or fight for those backup minutes behind Noire Mogat.
Speaking of UE, the only team that's not part of the Filoil tournament. So gulatan na lang tayo sa UE come season 89. Moving on, we can talk about the next game. This one, I would say, was an upset. NU stunning the DLSU Green Archers, the defending champs, led by your boy, ba? Reinhard Humamoy. Gab, thoughts on reactions on NU beating LaSalle. Maybe you can also chime in on an under the radar news that maybe we missed out, we haven't talked about. We just found out dito sa Filoil. Omar John deciding to leave NU and go pro to join the Japanese league. 3-on-3 Japanese league. Shout out to our friend, the good friend of the podcast, Omar John. I know, Gab.
Ironic. He hates us.
Siguro a few words for our good friend Omar John before you talk about NU versus LaSalle.
Well, I was planning on saving this for a news recap for in our next episode, most likely. But yeah, big blow to NU. Although I did see that they had another FSA behind the bench. So maybe they are planning for a replacement to Omar John. I don't think si Diakite, who is in their boys basketball team, is eligible to play. I think he's still incoming grade 12. So He's still has a year in high school to play, but yeah, a big blow to NU. Omar John was the backbone of their defense last year. One of the big reasons why they got the number one seed in the eliminations, didn't quite pan out in the final four, but still, they won a lot of games, and a lot of those were because Omar John anchored that defense. His offense came and went, wasn't really present for all of the games, but he was a very capable big man. I mean, he took a lot of ire from us and from a lot of NU fans and UAAP fans because he underwhelmed when it mattered. I think it's the same as last season. Remember the previous Final Four matchups in the UAAP did not go well against, I think, UP and against Salle. Omar John did not perform well against those teams, but yeah, you have to give credit where credit is due. He did improve after his one season off. He did come back with a vengeance. He grew bigger. He grew a lot. He had a lot more muscle on his body, and it definitely showed. His improved play. It will definitely be missed. Although I do have to say, from the post-game interview of Coach Jeff Napa, it does look like they did not end on good terms. Coach Jeff did not want to talk about Omar John leaving and deflected all the questions about Omar John. So, mukhang hindi yata maganda yung usapan nila. But kudos to Omar John. I mean, got a basketball career, diba? Out of playing in the UAAP.
Yeah.
International pa in Japan.
Internationally. Yeah.
Diba? So, kudos to Omar, man. He
Go
might
get
have
the
been
bag.
Yeah, go get the bag. He might have been criticized a lot, but he's now playing in Japan. 3-3 or 5-5. He's still making a career out of basketball. So kudos to you, Omar. Mo Diazana is now the top dog in terms of FSA. I don't know how they're gonna address their second FSA for season 89, but we've seen Mo Diazana. We saw Mo Diazana in this game, and I guess we'll talk about it more. Maui, Sam, go. Your takes on Omar John.
Maui.
Ako,
Parting words for our good friend.
congratulations, diba, for getting the bag. I think that's why he went to the Philippines, to be able to make a living, to get a chance to get a basketball contract after college. I think I just like to say parang grabe nangyari. Well, we cannot speculate. Oh, no, sorry. We can only speculate if something happened with Coach Jeff, but it doesn't look good. It's not a good look also for Coach Jeff kasi parang this is not the first player that has had the spot with him. But yeah, kudos to Omar John. Diba? When you get the bag, you have to grab the bag. You don't know when the next opportunity will come.
Yeah. Good luck, Omar John. Thank you for the good times. Thank you for the comments on our podcasts. And shout out to you for the maturity, for being how you grew after like being cut from the team 2 seasons ago to like being one of the core players of the NU team that went all the way to number 1, to the top spot in the UAAP last year. So good luck to you. Hope you have a long, successful pro career. Thank you for the memes. Okay, Gab, let's talk about NU versus let's talk about NU versus LaSalle. Were you surprised that NU won this game?
Yes, I called it an upset in our title, and I really think it was an upset.
Okay. Let's hear it.
Yeah, overall, I have to say this. The game was ugly. Was really, really ugly. It was really hard to watch. I think middle of the second quarter, half point of the second quarter, it was 19-18. Yeah, I think that's some Adamson shit right there, man. If I ever saw 19 to 18 in the halfway point of the second quarter is 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 crazy. And actually, I had to walk my dog. I think when Pusupi lost their stream, I had to walk my dog. I came back as was halfway the third quarter and it was only in the 30s. Like, what happened? And yeah, it was a pretty ugly game. LaSalle in the end had a lot of easy looks, especially when they were trying to make that run. They had a lot of easy looks. See, Jacob Cortez, I think heading into the fourth quarter, only had 5 points, and eventually, got a lot of clutch points when they were making their last ditch run to try to seal the deal, to try to steal the game. But overall, an ugly game. I think only one player from NU scored in double figures, which was Reinhardt, and majority of those were free throws, which he got in the closing moments of this game when LaSalle were just trying to foul to extend the game. So without those free throws, none of the players from NU would have scored in double figures. So that tells
Classic
you
NU. Classic NU game.
But I have to go to LaSalle. I expected this of NU. I expected them to struggle out of the gate, to struggle to score with their offense. They aside from Humamoy and Garcia, they don't have a lot of ball creators. They're parading si Modi Asana, who was not their FSA last season. So I expected NU to struggle. What I did not expect was LaSalle to struggle so much, and they did. They missed a lot of shots. They turned the ball over a lot, and their offense was going nowhere for majority of this game. They started Seven Gagate. He started off okay. I think he had 4 quick points, but eventually they had to try out si Moses Kulang, and again, nakulangan na naman sila ng production because honestly, his minutes on the floor are just so bad. He's out of position for majority of the times on defense. He lost Mo Diazana, I think twice for 2 easy baskets for Mo Diazana. He brings some energy. I mean, I gotta give him credit. He does bring some energy. He does try to block shots, try to rotate, but this is one of the cases where it's too much energy because he's not focusing on trying to get himself into the proper position, was not trying to set good picks, he's not trying to flash into the middle. He's all over the place. And you see it on the court. Pinagsasabihan siya ng mga teammates niya, hey, you're supposed to be here, you calm down. They're trying to direct them where to go. So he looks really lost. And I told this to you guys on the chat. He makes Henry Agunane look good. And Henry Agunane was a mid-FSA, but Henry Agunane is in LaSalle's lineup for Filoil. I would be if I were a LaSalle fan, I would be praying for Henry Agunane to come back. In all honesty, he looks much better than Mo Kulang. I mean, he tries to do too much at times. He tries to attack from the perimeter where he shouldn't. He has butterfingers at times. But at least, he's positionally a lot more disciplined than Mo Kulang is now. This is going to be one of the burning questions for LaSalle coming into season 89. Can they survive playing majority of the game without an FSA? That has been their strategy. That has been their rotation for majority of the preseason. They don't play FSA. They play Pablo and Amos with Gagate, and now with a little bit of LeBron James Daep and some Ral Melencio. So, can they survive with this? They're gonna have to match up with Mo Konate, Collins Akowe, Deontay Miles from UP, big dudes. Can Seven Gagate and Luis Pablo hold down the fort in the front court, and can Mason Amos do so? That's playing with fire. They have to get an FSA who can match up with in size wise. Just ask Ateneo how bad it is not to have an FSA. Just ask NU 2 seasons ago how difficult it is to play
Good
without
point.
an FSA. So they need one. As good as Luis Pablo has been, as good as Mason Amos has been, it's not gonna be enough if you're gonna match up against the size of the other teams. No, so pray for Henry Agonan. I hope he comes back. I really think he's looking much better, a much better option than Mo Kulang is right now. And I would like to bet na maybe in a year off, he did do some training, maybe lifted some weights while he was injured, did some skills work. Maybe he's a much better player now. Diba?
Is he
So,
getting the Omar John bump?
Maybe.
Off-season bump?
Maybe. But NU, I do have to give credit. They locked down LaSalle a lot on defense. They tried to run. They forced LaSalle into turnovers. They forced LaSalle into rush shots, and they hung on. It was a single-digit game at the end of this game, but it was a double-digit lead for majority of that fourth quarter. Towards the end, LaSalle just did the last-ditch effort, but NU came away. There were two awesome blocks in this game. Luis Pablo blocking a Mo Diazana dunk, and DJ Laconsay doing a LeBron James-esque chase down block on Jacob Cortez. So, some excellent highlights, defensive highlights for this game. Maui, Sam, go ahead.
Maui,
Yeah.
what's your take on NU versus LaSalle?
I'd have to agree that this was definitely an upset by NU. But still surprising to me that NU won this game without any guy going off. Kasi diba usually in basketball, when upsets happen, a certain player or a certain team gets hot from the field. It just looked like that NU could really hang with LaSalle. I think LaSalle has a lot more questions to answer this off-season. Maganda yung comment kanina. I think losing Mike Phillips is bigger than losing KQ was. I think that the fact that they won the championship showed the value of having a Mike Phillips, how he played, especially in Game 3. I think it will really expose the importance of an FSA to LaSalle fans, because they have had the luxury of having a Mike Phillips who performed better than most FSAs did in the UAAP. I think that's how big he is. I think Gabby's right. LaSalle has to find a suitable replacement, because I think si Pablo and Amos still play better when they play the power forward slot. I think si Pablo is better when he gets to become a slashing forward. I think si Amos is better on the perimeter. I think that's for sure. You don't want Amos getting back to defending FSAs. Just watch the clips that he had when he was playing for Ateneo. Even he himself said that he will foul out. To us, he will foul out if he continues to guard FSAs. And with him even slimming down right now, I think he will have an even harder time to guard bulkier and bigger FSAs like Mo Konate and maybe Deontay Miles and Noruka. Even so, I think the second question that LaSalle has to find out is who will be that secondary playmaker, shot creator. I think understated din yung value of losing a Kian Baclaan, and I think this game showed it. Cortez had to facilitate. That's why he had only 3 or 5 points before the fourth quarter, and he had 11 assists. I think guys like Doy Dungo, guys like Makalalag will have to do playmaking and scoring better. If you were watching the game early on, si Abadam was actually aggressive nung first half, and I think he will have to be aggressive, similar to how he was aggressive during the second round or the latter part of the season when they lost Amos and Baclaan. LaSalle is more beatable, definitely, than their last season when they were crowned champions. I think they have a lot of questions to answer. I think you can even blame si Amos and Pablo because both of them have been performing pretty well during the preseason. I think guys like Makalala, guys like Abadam, even si Dungo, si Guliena has been quiet. These guys have to step up more. They have to mix playmaking, driving to the basket, and scoring. They have to also hit their shots consistently from the outside. But yeah, I think NU really won this game was by bullying Salle in the paint. I have to give a shout out to Alfanta, Mac Alfanta. I love this. I love how he plays.
I think he's one of the
He-
big winners of the preseason so far.
Yes,
He doesn't
definitely. I
look
think
like a rookie.
he will definitely get
To be fair,
minutes.
Sammy, high school pa lang, mukhang mama na to
Mukha
si
na
Mac.
siyang mama. Yeah. Sabi ko, sino to? Mukhang college na. Mukhang pro na.
I love his fearlessness. I think he generated a lot of points. Not just his points, but also points from his teammates because of his aggressiveness to drive the basket. Actually, very good question. Where is Marasigan? Marasigan is still injured.
I was gonna say, you're
Yeah.
looking for a secondary playmaker. I think.
Is it Boris? Can Boris answer
I
that?
think Marasigan could be that answer to be that secondary playmaker. He could also bring that toughness that I think Lasalle lacked during the game during the game yesterday. I think they will need si Marasigan a lot more than they needed last season. Not just his shot creation, not just playmaking, but his toughness. I think that's something that Lasalle is missing with Phillips not in the lineup. They need the blue collar worker. Pablo cannot be the only one. But yeah, I think there are a lot of positive signs also with Lasalle. Si Gab mentioned si Gagate. Gagate has been playing better. I love yung yung him and Pablo still have that chemistry. If you've been watching a lot of Lasalle games, si Pablo has assisted in a lot of Gagate baskets. Pablo knows where to find Gagate in the paint, and I think Lasalle can build on that. But I think they don't have the luxury of getting bigs into foul trouble, much like they did in previous UAAP seasons. Much like Gab, if I were Lasalle fan, I would be praying that Henry Agunane would get healthy. Si Kulang brings energy, but I think it's still too raw. He probably lacks knowledge to play basketball on a high level. He also doesn't have the best hands. I think si Amos was frustrated with some of the drop passes that he had during the game. But yeah, I think si Agunane and Marasigan could be the missing pieces for Lasalle. We all know that si Agunane also played injured. I think with a torn ACL during his lone UAP season. So maybe we see a different NU Agunane when he comes back. So those two guys, if I were a Lasalle fan, I'd probably play that they get healthy. So Marasigan has been out for a long time. I'm not sure. It's actually sure to the extent of his injury.
If
Please
someone
let
knows,
us know.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
let us know.
Please let us know.
Where's Boris?
Yep. So Maui, if Boris and Agunane are healthy in time for season 89, are you what do you think, where will this Lasalle team go with those two guys healthy?
They can go anywhere. Diba? I mean, the UAAP is about momentum. The UAAP is about building that chemistry all throughout the season. Diba? Lasalle has been in this position. Lasalle was a fourth or third seed last season when they went to the finals and still beat
Fourth seed.
a fourth
seed.
Diba? They struggled right throughout the season and really found a gem in Luis Pablo and got back Mason Amos and Baclaan during the second round. I think they have if you talk about ceiling, I think they can repeat as champions. They have Jacob Cortez. They have Mason Amos. They have Luis Pablo, who I think are one of the top guys in the UAAP. I mean, they still have the needed depth, the needed bench power, bench scoring to be able to be contenders in the UAAP. I think their biggest hole right now is that big man slot, that FSA slot. They need one more body. But I like the develop. I like how si Gagate has developed this offseason. I think he can get, even if Agunane plays well, I think he will get some minutes this season, definitely. Maybe even surprise us, much like Pablo.
Oh, actually, if Maui, 7 hit a 3, I think, in this game or in their previous game, and I'm thinking to myself, if he can hit that consistently, if he
Mhm.
can develop himself into a stretch five, man, I think he's gonna find himself into huge minutes. So yeah, and with how LaSalle shot yesterday, I just checked the link yung that you sent, Maui. They shot 30% overall from the field and 19% from three. They missed 25 threes. They were 6 out of
Wow.
31. And yeah, it looked like it when you were watching. I didn't have the stats with me, but just watching the game, you saw that they missed a lot of shots. They had a lot of open looks that they could not make. Uh, I'm thinking this is a bad shooting day only for LaSalle.
Mhm.
I don't think that NU is the better team by any chance. I do think that this was purely an upset. LaSalle was caught on a day where their shots were not going in, and NU took advantage. So kudos to NU, man. Um, I do have to say one thing though. Why won't they use Gilan Kines? I do remember the hype around this guy last when they got him, diba? Last season that
The
hey,
rival of LeBron James Daip in the NCAA Juniors division.
diba? And he had some moments during the season, diba? Yeah, he had some moments. They were small moments. I mean, he had very limited minutes. I mean, with Baclaan and Cortez as the point guards there, but I thought that he would have a larger role. He played only less than 5 minutes in this game, and he does not seem to be in the good graces of Coach Tupex. The guys like Jason Sibul and who was the other point guard that they got, si Iris Kokia, are not here in this game. So he is technically the backup point guard, and they're still not playing him. So yeah, he seems to not to be in the good graces of the coaching staff or in Coach Topex. I really thought that they would try and experiment more with him, try to develop him, but mukhang hindi eh. And we'll get to it in a future news recap. They just got another guard for season 90, another point guard for season 90. So mukhang wala talaga silang confidence kay Gilan Kines at all.
Yeah. Kudos to NU. NU for upsetting LaSalle. I was also surprised, to be honest, because wasn't expecting a lot from NU this season, especially with the news that Omar Jan was leaving. That's essentially what, three of your starters gone in Omar Jan, Jake Figueroa, Steve Nash Enriquez, plus your other main guys like Joloman and Salle, Mark Parks, Jello Santiago. So not really expecting a lot from this team, but they get a big win against LaSalle. It's still LaSalle kahit na wala si Voris Marasigan. It's still a juggernaut team. Gab, do you think NU will make it to the final for this season? With how good the other teams have, with how much other teams have upgraded. We'll talk about a team that has upgraded a ton next.
Right now, I don't think they are with how they're performing, but it's still early. Again, maybe we'll do a Maui's version of the power rankings towards the end of the preseason.
After beating LaSalle,
Yeah, it's still after beating LaSalle. I mean, I'm not confident that they got better.
I agree.
Sabi nga ni Coach Jeff, I think in his post-game interview, ang daming magagaling na yung nawala. And he pointed out si Steve Nash Enriquez, si Jake Figueroa, Jolo Manansala, Jello Santiago, graduated Mark Parks. So, those guys were a big part of the rotation. So they have to find a new identity. This is essentially a new look NU Bulldogs team. Very much a new look team. They have a lot to figure out. Again, it looks like si Reinhard Mamoy is gonna run free finally for this season. Again, hashtag free Reinhard Mamoy.
Free Reinhardt.
Yeah, I mean,
Wala na
that's
choice.
back-to-back games na 20 plus minutes na siya. At kahit na may
Yeah.
masama siyang
Hindi na daw ako bata, di ba? In interview siya, sabi niya, hindi na ako bata.
oh. I mean, totoo naman. Senior
Big
na siya.
boy ka na.
Oh, senior na si Reynard. But, yeah, I mean, of all the NU players, he is the one. He is, I think, for right now, he is their next main guy. I mean, he is the only one not the only one. The one of the few guys on this team could actually create shots for himself and for others. Him and Tebol. Si Macmac is showing some signs. Si Macmac Alfanta. But right now it looks like si Reynaldo Maming will be taking the reins from Jake Figueroa.
Yeah, shout out to Lacunsayo also. I think he's going to he's been starting the entire preseason. Yeah.
Good.
I think he's going to do the Manansala role, yung athletic wing nila, but he has a shot, so that's what I like about him then. Okay, maybe we can briefly talk about FEU versus the Gilas under 18 team. So FEU giving the Gilas high school kids beat down. Gab, thoughts on FEU versus Gilas?
Uulitin ko. Sorry, Jeffrey. FEU is back!
FEU is back! It's just one game.
Let's go!
But FEU is back.
This is the first time, Sammy, we've seen the Cabs Cabonillas, Mark Burgos, and even si Sam Hall, who has recently committed,
recent
recruit for the FEU Tamaraws. This team, right now, as constructed, is deep. Sabi nga ni Coach Sean Chambers in his post-game interview, I now have 12 guys who can play.
And it's a problem for him. Basically, he was trying to say, I'm having a hard time kasi I have 12 guys who can play. So, hindi ko alam kung paano ko aayusin yung lineup. So what does that mean? Gab?
It means na he has a lot of talented players already, and he also took a shot at his previous teams, at his previous rosters. Na,
exactly.
I have guys who can play.
Exactly. So last year, when you fielded 12 guys, not everyone could play, basically.
No. Now he has 12 guys who can play, and I was looking at their depth chart. They are deep. You talk about their starting five. Then off the bench, you have si Montemayor, si Felipe, Mahmoud, Ranieses, Sam Hall, Cabonillas, and Burgos. Though that's 12. I'm not even counting guys like Adam Nakay, who I think is now gonna ride the bench. I'm sorry, but Cabs Cabonillas is much better. Sila Jaden Jones, he might forever be a bench warmer. I don't know. Is Aaron Baguno still there? I don't know. He may be forced to leave already with all the young talent that's coming into this.
No
Baguno show. No more
Baguno show.
But good sign that those guys finally suited up. I don't think he has to worry. Coach Sean Chambers has to worry about chemistry. Most of these guys have been playing for years.
That's a good point.
It's the same thing with Sinada, Moncopa, and Pasaol. These guys have been playing for years. Which is why when Kirby came in last season, it was like not much adjustment was needed because he's been playing with Jan Ray since they were kids. So their bench unit are all teammates from the high school division. I don't think he'll have a hard time finding chemistry with these guys. This is gonna be a scary FEU team. I'm very interested for this weekend when FEU matches up against Salle in the Asia Basket quarterfinals. That's gonna be a must watch. That's a must watch game. That will test FEU. I think this is their first test really of the off season. It's gonna test LaSalle, their front line. How are they gonna match up with the Monconate? Can they really go all Filipino? Can they really go without an FSA playing big minutes? They don't have a Mike Phillips to save them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's gonna be a test. So I'm excited for this FEU team. Not much into the game. I expected the blowout. I mean, they are playing with kids, so against some kids, the under 18 team. So I didn't expect much from the game. It did become a blowout, but it was just nice to see that the young guys are finally playing for FEU. And yun nga, so excited for this FEU team. I'm pumped. I want to see big minutes from Cabonillas, Burgos, Snerenieses, Sam Hall, I want to see them play. Because I saw them play in the boys division in this past season, and I think they're really good. So, shout out FEU. Sorry, Jeffrey.
Maui.
is back.
FEU's back na nga ba? And based dito sa comment, is FEU the favorites for the championship? Whoa.
Yeah, I think in the overreaction that FPU is at Final Four contender. Maybe not championship yet. Let's wait. Let's wait for them to start the season on a good note. They haven't started on a good note in consecutive seasons. But yeah, I think they have the talent. But they're the most intact team, and now they're adding a very good recruiting class. Buti na lang si Shelton naging dalawa yung FSA na UAAP because again we've said this. Yan si Jeffrey, Gab daw, relax. No, but I think FEU is probably the biggest winner. We can easily say right now that FEU has been the biggest winner. Anytime you get your top guns from the juniors division, you are definitely the biggest winner because that's a program that will continue to yield results for you in the future. But yeah, I won't say championship contender, but I would say one of the favorites to make the Final Four. Much like Gab, I'm excited. So we can match up na with LaSalle. Finally, a good matchup for them.
Yep. Biggest test for FEU so far this off-season. Shout out to Jeffrey. Medyo kinakabahan na si Jeffrey sa mga FEU is back comments ni Gab. I do want to say about FEU. Tama ka. I agree with you, Maui. FEU is probably one of the biggest winners. I do want to call this the hosting bump because FEU is going to be the host of Season 89, UAAP Season 89. They already teased it. Nag-hand over na sa UST sa FEU. The opening is on September 12. They teased it with a video featuring Glock 9 and Vice Ganda. Shout out to Glock 9 and Vice Ganda. And I call this the hosting bump. You know, when the UAAP host school, if a school will host the UAAP, they always go all in. We know what happens. And Maui and Gab, I know sa chat natin, we've always been talking about this. Grabe FEU, all in, super aggressive this entire off-season. I think that's it. It's the hosting bump. Securing the juniors MVP in Cabonillas and one of their stars in Burgos. We kept hearing other teams really trying to get those two guys, but they were able to secure them. Aggressively recruiting other like tall guys na Phil si Elias Gish, hindi pa nga natin nakikita. Sam Hall, si Ranieses, they also got. So I think even the news about Joric Bautista coming back, di ba? Nag-goodbye na tayo kay Joric, Gab eh. Nag-goodbye na tayo eh. Bakit siya biglang bumalik? I think FEU convinced Joric, you have to come back for our hosting.
He wants to be back.
Yeah. You have to be back because we're hosting season 89.
No pun
so
intended. Nowhere to go but up.
nowhere to go but up. Wag mo sabihin yan. Galit si Jeffrey sa'yo. Shout out sa'yo, VJ Prey. Wish you were here in FEU. I just gotta show this comment from Mr. Jeffrey Timbang himself. Can you imagine if VJ Prey was there? Crazy. Yeah, so I think this is the hosting bump. Shout out to FEU. I'm excited for season 89. I'm excited for FEU. It's always an interesting season when FEU is a contender. Looking forward to that matchup against LaSalle this coming season. So yeah, I think that's it for today's this coming season weekend.
Sabi mo na sa FEU na finals eh.
Oo nga eh. So I think that's it for today's episode. But please stay tuned. So we have a ton of games coming up. This weekend, meron tayong Asia Basket matches. But this entire week, we still have a ton of UAAP basketball to watch from Filoil. I think, let me just check the schedule. Tomorrow, we have UP versus NU. On Wednesday, we have LaSalle versus UST. Thursday, Adamson versus NU. And then Thursday also, UP versus Gilas Youth. So stay tuned for that. It's really the peak of season already. We have 2 tournaments ongoing. So we'll cover most of the games. If you haven't yet, please like this video, comment down below. Thank you to the 88 live viewers that we have over here right now. Stay tuned for more content. Subscribe, share with your friends. We'll see you again next time. And please watch also our NBA conference finals preview coming soon. Bye-bye.